agendas in the background.
Okay, you're good.
All right, let's move on then to monthly reports, and we'll start with the auditor.
So we've gotten some of our tax preparation going. We have preliminary growth figures for all the taxing districts. Right now, we're waiting on the centrally assessed utilities from the state of South Dakota. Once we get those, we'll be able to start calculating property taxes for pay 2023. We are working on our precinct election workers list. 2 years ago, because of COVID, we had a lot of school teachers who stepped up to serve, and I'm not sure if we can count on those this time or not, because they're actually back in school. So anybody who wants to be a precinct worker can contact the office. I also have one precinct. I'm just running this by you. I was hoping maybe to get some input from people in Elmira Township. Elmira Township votes at Lincoln School. And Lincoln School has been very accommodating to us, but I'm just not as comfortable having people go in and out of that public school on a school day for voting. In the 2020 general election, there were 108 people that voted at the polling place. I would like to move Elmira Township out to the Ag building with the rest of the precincts that I've got. I don't want to do it if it's gonna, upset anything, but I just think it would be a better fit to have Elmira out there also. As it is now, I have to take special steps to make sure that school is open at 6 o'clock, and then somebody has to go back and close it up at 7 o'clock. And there are school kids moving through while there are people voting. So it's a thought I've had. I welcome input from people from Elmira Township.
Just a little history, Cindy.
Yes.
How did it wind up at Lincoln School?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I think that must be where at one time, all of our precincts were scattered throughout the city when I took office 20 years ago. And it just got to be so much confusion and extra work to haul equipment to to 13 different places. And we looked at the Ag building, the extension center, and we thought, this place is perfect. It'll fit everybody. Yes, it is on one side of town, but if somebody's at the wrong precinct table, they just have to walk across the floor to get to the right one. So that's when we moved everything to the extension center. And I don't know if it was Elmira Township officials preferred to stay at Lincoln School. I'm not sure.
I was just a little curious
what the reason is, but like I said, it's an extra trip to deliver equipment. This way I could have everything at the extension center. So I am looking for input from this board and from the people in Elmira Township. So
My experiences have been the first year there's going to be pushback. Second year, they're going to complain a little bit. And the third year, they're going to say, why didn't we do this a long time ago?
that's my opinion, because I think some of those people are going to the Ag building first and then finding out that they have to go up to Lincoln School. So
No, it'd be nice just to have all voting at one centralized location. It would be
Right,
easier for you.
We do have
That's what happened
Sheridan
around
still though at
Sheridan
the
is
Days
still
Inn.
out of the
Sheridan
Days
still,
Inn.
yeah.
That's not quite as difficult because it's a public building, so we can get in there
Right.
when we need to.
So my question is, if they want to keep it on the east side, could
Oh.
we combine Sheridan and Elmira in there? Would that be too confusing?
I think that would be too confusing. They're two different, let me think.
Is there room?
It's kind of a small room.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
a
sure.
smaller room. I just don't know how
I'm
many
not
they actually
sure.
have at one
Yeah.
time, but just a
I
thought.
think it would be better. It'd be more functional to move them to the extension center.
Mhm.
And I think Sheridan would too. So if Sheridan has any,
Just move them all there and then be in
yeah,
one spot.
Certainly lead to a lot more uniformity, and if you were having a problem,
well, and the
with-
other problem I have, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, is I don't have any election workers from Elmira Township right now. Two
Right.
of them that worked for me in the spring cannot work this fall because they go south for the winter, and one of them has a conflict. So right now I am sitting with no precinct workers for Elmira Township. So my other thought was to combine Elmira with one of the city precincts just for voting purposes, like I do Lake Township.
Mhm.
I combine that with some of the North Lake Drive precincts and just combine them for voting purposes. It would just seem economical, one less precinct table, and
Right.
yes, it would take getting used to, but
But you'd
Like
have
I-
those workers then.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
cell-
Well, and a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, or was it 4 years ago, when you were thinking there was a possibility of security. Well, if you got security out at the extension center, it's
Mhm.
all covered, but if you've got, then you need double security.
right. I just can't put security at each one of my polling places.
No.
The other
I don't
thing,
know who I would hire in the first place.
the other
And
thing
it
is
is
that
becoming an issue across the nation,
So
where you have a lot of a lot of our recent training has been on security and what we can do.
what is the process, Myron, or what, Cindy? What would be the process to get that over there to the?
I would probably have to bring it before this board for approval, is what my opinion is.
Mhm.
it's handicapped accessible
Yes,
and it has bathrooms.
yes,
It's well lit
yes.
and once the workers,
It
that's what
is-
we found in Ralville Township. Once they moved in, they said, why didn't we do this years ago?
It's such a good facility. You
Oh.
can't imagine when you go out there on election morning and see everything ready to go, how nice it looks.
Well, why don't we put it out to our folks in Elmira Township that if there's a concern or if anybody
Mhm.
has an issue, to contact your office and
Yeah, I mean, we
And just
can
bring it
send, we
back
can
and-
send a mailing to all the voters in Elmira Township advising them of the change, but it's something
Mhm.
we need to get moving on. So, I'm gonna give it a week or two and,
If you don't have any workers step up and do it, we don't really have an
Yeah.
option.
yeah.
And you'll need to combine them with one of those
If
wards
I
in
can't
town.
find people from Elmira Township, I can go outside the precinct, but it's preferable to
Right.
have somebody who lives in Elmira
Mhm.
Township sit on the board, so,
Right.
okay. That
And
was
we're-
just the discussion for future.
Right.
And other than that, we are just working on normal day-to-day things.
All right. Very good. Any other questions for Cindy? Otherwise, we'll move on then to Shauna, Director of Equalization. Good morning, Shauna.
Morning, Shauna.
Don't know which one to turn on.
There you go.
Okay, so aside from our normal daily sales splits, transfers, things like that, we did get our notice from the Department of Revenue on our ag land valuations. The productivity value is going to go up a little under 5% this year. It's like 4.6, 4.7. It has not changed the last two assessment years. And then before that, it had stayed remotely the same for the last three. So not too horrible, I don't think, for increasing the way everything else is increasing. So we're going to be updating those about a little under 5% this year. Our summer reappraisal out in the county is going really good. We're running ahead of schedule. And so we are actually going to be adding Leola Township to this summer as well. There's about 49 properties that have buildings. Feel pretty confident that we can get through those. So we'll be doing that also. And then the only other thing I need to talk about is the discretionary formula that we need to get implemented. I did look over it and it looks like, looked over it again, it looks like the 7th year has to be 100%. So we only really need to worry about what we want to add for that 6th year. Because right now it's 0 for 5. We need to add 2 more, but the 7th year has to be 100%.
What would you suggest? Somewhere in between?
My honest opinion is that this law is going into place to help with low-income housing. Since we already have a 0 for 5 years, my opinion would just be 0 for 6 years, and then bump it up to the 100%, because it is put into place, put into law to help with low-income housing in our area. That's something that we need. But it can be anywhere up to 75%.
Right. It would be consistent then with our other one. That's going to be 0 up to 5.
The other
so-
ones will stay the same.
Yeah.
It's 0 for the full 5 years. This
And
one,
then-
even though they extended it for 7, they say it's 7 years, they're still making it be 100% that 7th year. So they're really only extending it for 1 year.
Mhm.
And since it's just 1 year,
Yeah. Okay. Seems fair enough to just
Yep.
keep it consistent with the other one. So is that something you need to get on the agenda then?
yes,
Okay.
after we kind of decide where we want to go with the percentages, then we'll have to put the resolution on the
Resolution.
agenda.
Yeah. All right. Did anyone else have any thoughts on that? You
I'm fine.
okay
that.
with Shauna's recommendation? That's okay. All right.
All right, I will
Sounds
get
good.
something drawn up then and. get
When we
that
wrote
into
that
place.
resolution, Shauna, just to clarify, it wasn't just for low income housing or to spur the growth of
full-
low income.
This new
housing.
law is
Right.
only for like the apartment buildings. So this is, we still will keep all of the other commercial the same, but this one is to help just with the apartment buildings for, the
Got
low
it.
income and things like that. So this wouldn't be everything, and this resolution will specifically talk about just the apartment buildings.
And it has the amounts.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Dollar amounts. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right,
Very good.
that's all I got.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Shauna. Lee, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
No,
All right. Let's move on then to Welfare Director. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Morning.
Yes. Okay. So the report, I did add the previous Excel file just to compare on there. So the Excel one is July through April when we stopped using that. And then the other monthly report is from the network of care is kind of the May. There's some that we added in, but May through now, as far as the financial pieces and things. Yeah.
so Sarah, is that, I'm not seeing that. Are they two different sheets or is it included on this sheet that's on the screen now?
It's a separate document. I think I had
Okay.
emailed,
All right, let me see.
it was another attachment in that email. That one.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, so there's been a lot of funerals this last year or this year. It's kind of the nature of what it is. So. Yeah, most of the time spent on cares, but other care coordination and things that down at the bottom, it's kind of nice to have the time spent on what we're working on things. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other questions on that at all? Yeah, so that was a busy month. Yes. Okay, then ICAP spent about 30 hours assisting people in our office. And so for the update for our office, just to let you all know, I'm using some vacation time this week. We have an exchange student that's getting settled in our house. And so we're using some time. So I'll be in and out this week if you contact the office. Carrie's there covering too. So we are planning an open house for the office combined with Brothers and Sisters Behind Bars this Friday, the 12th from 11 to 1. And so that invitation will be going out here today, or that notice. The South Dakota Association of County Welfare Officials, they did present that resolution and they're going to hold off on any decision-making until after the election to see what happens with Medicaid, because that could be a real game changer for us. Carrie and I did go down to the Minnehaha Human Services and met with their staff about the medical processing and how to process those. That was really helpful in just clarifying and getting Carrie up to speed on what to do so that she can help take over some of those medical claim pieces with that. And then the impact program with Nicole, she'll be finishing her certification in the next few weeks and is planning to start taking referrals by the end of the month and get things started with that. And so next month we'll do a kind of a explanation on what she's doing with her program, all of those pieces. With the system of care and strategic planning, the interagency meeting is continuing. We meet this Thursday, the second Thursday of the month on Zoom. This month, we're going to be talking about emergency economic assistance. And the network of care through the Helpline Center is continuing to go. We made our first referral, and that was really exciting. We all kind of did a celebration we referred to Department of Labor. And so it was really nice to be able to just have somebody come in our office, make a referral, and Department of Labor can reach out to them. So that was great. The Resilient Communities had a full day training last week, and it was we were allowed 30 people and we had 30 people attend. It was a really great training opportunity and had some good conversation and discussion there with that. As far as the strategic planning itself, the 5 working groups, housing, mental health, community transformation, centralized services, and childcare working groups have all been meeting. They've established monthly meeting times, and then right now we're working on finalizing plans moving forward, those and all of those pieces. One of the goals with the strategic planning is to have something centralized. The request from the other agencies has been that our office kind of be that centralized location. And so that's something that I want to make sure that you guys as the commissioners are aware of, is that's a role that our office is taking on. It really provides some benefit to the community to have some of that centralized services and location with that. And so that means that we're just leading those meetings and that initiative piece and all of that. So a couple of the things that I wanted to make sure that you're aware of, this is no action today, but just for your information. With the strategic planning, there is a need to have a marketing plan. That marketing plan is both to get the word out about the strategic plan, but then also to highlight social services in our community. And so we did get a proposal from Omni Marketing. That was who the advisory council decided to go with, Omni Marketing. They're already working with the mental health group in Watertown to do some marketing. They're familiar with Watertown and familiar with the social service needs in Watertown. And so they're a good fit because they're already doing work for our social services in the community. So we have their marketing plan proposal. The next piece that we'll need then is funding for that. So we had looked into some different funding options and took it to the advisory council, and the advisory council would like to move forward with the Health Improvement Innovation Grant. This is money that's coming through, it's through the Department of Health. This is part of that CDC funding that the Department of Health received. It's the money that's funding the community health worker grants. This is a separate section of that funding. And so it would be something that we would look at applying for. The maximum that we can apply for at this time is $25,000. We would apply for it to cover the marketing pieces for the strategic planning, which includes, again, advertising the strategic plan, but also highlighting social services in our community with that. And so the plan is that we'll come back next week and ask for permission for the county to apply for grant funding, but I wanted to present it today. If there's any initial questions or any thoughts on the county applying for this funding for that purpose. No matching, no funds. It's a non-compete grant. And so the money is there. We just have to submit an appropriate proposal. It's a one-time funding. However, they did inform that there's a good chance there'll be an opportunity for future funding. Right now, we're just looking for the one-time funding to cover the marketing.
So this is one-time funding that they'll pay for, and then in the future, we're on for it.
No, it would be that we would do this marketing plan, and the marketing plan is like a one-time thing. That this isn't going to be an ongoing program or anything. There's no employee or anything like that. It's just a one-time
Telling the community what you do.
to bring the social services together, and it's part of the strategic planning piece with that. Yeah. 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 Any other initial questions about that? Yeah.
Yeah, just so just to clarify, kind of piggyback on Charlie's question. So it's basically public awareness. You want people to be aware of the services that are available so that if there are people that need things, they know where to go. Is that basically what the marketing is about?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And to highlight the services, I mean, because one of the things we know is that people don't know what services are out there and then they're in crisis looking for a service that they don't know where to go and what to find. And we want to raise awareness and raise that with that.
Yeah.
And that's been verified through the studies, like the research that other agencies have done, the Human Service Agency, and they've done some studies, some surveys in the community, and they verified that that's what happens is people don't know what services are out there.
The application to move forward with that proposal comes from the advisory council,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
25,000.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah,
Seems simple,
the goal is to not have any funds come from the
Right.
county.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so kind of repetitive, but the benefit to the county is that we'll improve access to services so that people spend that less time when they're in crisis and can function better. Ultimately, it's going to save the county money to hopefully avoid crisis, and more importantly, will improve the quality of life of the county residents with that. So. And then finally, it's been a while since I've given a case report, and I thought it would be nice just to revisit why we do what we do. We had a situation where a woman came in last week. She had a sudden health crisis in the spring. And because of that crisis, her husband was let go from a job that he'd had for over 6 years. And because he was going to medical appointments with her using his paid time off. But because he was missing work, he was let go. And so she came in a few months ago. She did qualify for CARES because of the medical expenses. And at that time, we were able to connect her with some other medical charity programs that helped her with food and gas. She came in again last week. Her husband has just started a new job, which is actually a better position, but they need help until his first paycheck. And we were able to connect her with a couple other resources, and that's going to help them get through with the gas and food and those kinds of things. She was incredibly grateful for all of that. Those are just the really heartwarming situations where we can help. We didn't end up using any county funds for any of that. It was just the role of connecting her with the resources and making sure she gets to the right places to get her needs met.
Right,
That's
and that's part of this, you
The
know,
system of care.
the system of
Yes.
care of all the different resources that are out there to be able to accommodate.
Yeah.
If you haven't had an opportunity to attend the interagency meetings, I would
Mhm.
recommend that you do that.
Mhm.
They're very simple to log on to Zoom. They're very informational.
Yeah.
I won't be because I'll be West River, but
That's good. Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for
Thanks.
your work on
Thank you.
that. Appreciate it.
Yep, yeah, they've been, as long as we usually have 20 to 30, well, 30 more people attending. So as long as
Yeah,
agencies are.
It's really
coming.
fun to hear how everybody comes together and works together in the community.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of really great things happening.
And it's, you highlight different ones each time, so then you get a better grasp of what they are.
Yeah.
What they do.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, the reality is providers don't know what other providers do.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. It is surprising how they don't know.
Mhm.
Well, they haven't talked
Right,
to each other for years, so.
yep,
don't know what you don't know.
yep.
All right,
Thank
that
you,
do
Sarah.
it?
Thanks, Sarah.
Lee, did you have any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question on 5B on your thing. So you said you made your first interagency referral, just so people understand what that means. Did you like click on a certain icon on a thing and boop, they were referred, or what happened there?
Yeah.
How did that
So in the the network of care, which is our documenting system that the helpline center is set up. So when somebody comes in our office, we enter all their information in. And then now, so far, the Department of Labor and Salvation Army are up and running. Human Service Agency should be up soon. We can go in and make a referral. So if we do an assessment, and in that situation, it was somebody that needed help finding a job. And so we went in and you just put in a referral and you add just a little bit of information about the details. And then that referral is sent to the Department of Labor. And then at that point, they can see all of the relevant information for that patient. And then they're able to follow up with a phone call on that.
So that's basically like a warm handoff.
Yes, exactly.
That's the thing we've been, the elusive warm handoff. So,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. So people aren't running from agency to agency. Yep.
Right.
All right, very good. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 8, action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and monthly registered deeds fees.
The first page there is cash and cash items that were on hand as of the last business day in June. And then the second page there shows you where our cash balances are amongst all of our funds.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say
Oh,
aye.
that's sorry, we do have to note the registered deeds fees in the amount of $43,609.50 for the month of.
Motion stands. I'd move to approve.
Yep. And Waterman.
Yeah, that was just something to note.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right. 9:30 a.m. We're a little bit past that, but we will move on then to the phone system presentation from Midco representatives. Good morning.
Good morning.
If you could just introduce yourself, go ahead and have a chair and turn the other mic on, introduce yourself and
Just push the
We'll let
button,
you.
the white button.
there you go.
Good morning. I am Brandon with Midco Business. I'm a little local salesman here in Watertown. This is Sean Johnson. He's a sales engineer. He lives in Sioux Falls and kind of handles all of our hosted phone from me selling it to it being installed. Basically at that point, he does all the configurations of the phones, the switches, things of that nature. I'm going to hand out a folder here.
Just
Everyone.
a quick question, did I miss an email or just something I can put on the screen so we can see the presentation or?
No,
No,
Okay.
no. Maybe should have done
There
that.
you go. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure each one of you guys are familiar with what hosted VoIP is. In that folder there, I have two proposals. One for our hosted VoIP, breaking down each location from the courthouse to highway, everything in between there. And it's broke down with the regular old phone lines, POTS lines, and hosted. And then on the second sheet, I have the SIP paperwork. It has for if you were to go with an alternative phone system with another vendor, and then we would just be the backbone for the dial tone. So I'm sure everybody here is familiar with hosted and VoIP systems. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean Johnson here. He is very well-rounded in it, and we do things a little different than say some of the others. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to him, and he'll explain the differences from Midco.
Thank you, Brandon. Yes, so ours is a traditional VoIP system to a sense, in the fact that it gives you all the benefits of a voice over IP system. You will have an administrator comm portal where you could manage the whole phone system yourself. We do have soft phone clients where you can sign into an application on your cell phone to receive calls that would be sent to your desk phone when you're away from it. And also when that application is called out from, it would show the actual courthouse number rather than your private cellular number. With that, our preferred deployment method for our VoIP is actually more in vein to a traditional SIP PBX, where we actually prefer to do a dedicated internet modem that is actually tunneled directly to our voice switch, connected to a network router and switch that is provided as upfront capital by Midco. It is no cost to you for that network equipment or that dedicated tunnel. This way, while it is a VoIP system, it doesn't actually traverse public internet. It is completely privatized. And this allows Midco to do a quality of service guarantee to the actual phone handset that you would kind of see in a traditional phone system, instead of going up to your network, where then if you have issues with the phones on your network, we have no visibility and to see that. With a dedicated, we do have visibility to troubleshoot and manage the entire phone system with our dedicated network and voice engineers. So that is our preferred method. We are flexible though. So if the IT does prefer a more traditional over the top method where we just plug the phones into the county's network, we can work with that and accommodate that as well. But our preferred is to do a dedicated one, so that way we can guarantee you on your call quality in the buildings. And each location would get their own dedicated network set up for this system. With the system as well, you get the accommodations of a newer age PBX, where you will be able to inter-extension dial between the buildings with 4-digit dialing. So each building will be able to just dial a person's 4-digit extension between any building to traverse our network to connect to them without having to dial a 10-digit number. And that would keep calls within the system too. So it's not using up outgoing calling capability. So
So would we, would the, like, the hardware remain the same, or is that something you would have different hardware then?
we wouldn't do new hardware, new phones. Our model right now that we use is Polycom. So the only real structure that would stay the same right now would be your internal wiring. And we would use that internal wiring to connect our phones to our network switch and replace all of that. And we do have the phone model on the proposal that is our kind of included phone. But we do have additional models available in kind of an upgraded Polycom 601 phone that does have Bluetooth capability, as well as a touchscreen display if that was interested in. But for the base model, that is included with package price.
What would be the extra cost for that upgraded? Is that in here?
$3.
$3 per phone?
$3 per phone. Yep.
And I did not put that in the proposal. I just went, straight across the board with standard.
Mhm.
And we can mix and match that as well. So if there's a couple people in the office that do need that reception headset, we can mix and match. We could put one of those 601 phones in versus having to pay that extra money on every phone.
Okay.
And we do
Okay.
have additional a la carte features with our VoIP system in the way of like auto attendance for call tree capability, like press 1, press 2, stuff like that, that are also not on the proposal that we can get to you. So we do have that capability, as well as conference phones like this like this Starfish model. We do have conference models that are also that kind of upcharge. So with our VoIP systems, we do like to do a kind of custom design should the proposal be accepted, in which case we'll go over each department's phone needs and custom tailor the build for each department as they need it. We don't want to just stick in phones and say, have fun. We would want to discuss with everyone what they wanted and how they needed call routing capability to work. So
Did you have a conference phone included in that or not?
Do not.
Okay.
Do not. It was just off of the CenturyLink billing. We just went off of the 61 phones and the amount of regular phone lines. So we didn't really, as I built this, I didn't know what your specific needs would be.
Gotcha.
So it's just a really good estimate,
Gotcha.
realistically. And with this, we are at every location except one. We have service to every location, short of bearing a drop from our plant to the building, which is typically included in capital costs. We don't charge for that, except Memorial Park, which is the campgrounds there.
Mhm.
We have other options that we could potentially do to serve that. There's 23,000.
yes, our
20
construction teams did estimate about 23,000 to build lines to that
to
building.
build plant to that, which could potentially, we haven't run the numbers yet, but it could be at cost to the county. But we did come up with another potential solution, and I'll let Sean kind of explain that solution. We have a point-to-point internet product. We call it fixed wireless, and I'll turn that over to Sean on that one.
Yep, so it is within the range of one of our fixed wireless radio towers, where essentially we would put an antenna on the building and do a point-to-point connection of that tower to give them kind of public internet, and then we could do kind of regular phone lines off of that. Our hosted VoIP, because the phones do pull a little bit more data than traditionally used for a regular phone line, they don't work over that method as you experience call quality issues. So we prefer to do just regular phone lines. But one thing we could look at, if they frequently have cellular phones out in that area, we could do soft phone only extensions for that building where they would still be part of the larger phone system. They just would not have physical desk phones. They would just use an application-based calling. And they could use that application on computers in the office, cell phones in the office, whatever they needed. So we could look at a potential system that way there, if for some reason we couldn't build to it, or if that build was past the budget. So
So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on the soft phone analogy that
Yes.
you've referred to. I kind of have skimmed through this, but this would be a soft phone. It would be an application that goes right to my cell phone that allows me to call from my cell phone.
correct.
So those calls that are going out to Memorial Park would come into the system here, the PBX system
Mhm.
here, and be routed to their cell phone.
Yep.
Using the soft phone. So calls to Memorial Park would just be answered on the cell phone.
Exactly.
Am I right?
They would, yep, that is exactly correct. And they would see a different pop-up display than your traditional cellular call. It would actually show a Midco soft phone incoming call. And then when they would dial out from that, if they wanted to show the actual location phone number, they would use that same application to dial out. So
The only difference would be that they would not have a hardline phone in the office.
exactly.
And they would be using, potentially their own cell phone.
Depending, yep, exactly. So it does use, wireless cellular LTE. So it does work on all forms of data transfer for cell phones. So
So what about fax lines? Is that into this as well?
That is, that on each one of the proposals, as you scroll through, the address is at the top. And then the top, I think it shows on the top as digital lines. Digital lines are your fax lines. We put in a piece of equipment called an EMTA, and that takes the signal, and it's basically a modem, and it turns it into an analog line.
You talk about paging in-house here. What would that look like for our offices if we had to get a message out to all of our offices?
for sure. So the phones do have built-in multicast paging. So essentially there'll be a page button on the phone that you can press, and that would do a one-way broadcast to every phone in the building. With that, we can also have a paging adapter. If you have an in-house speaker system currently, we do have an algo adapter that we can interface between our VoIP system and that system to make it so our multicast paging will kind of bounce from our network to that audio, so you can page over your overhead system. As long as the current system has an amplifier, which most in-house systems do, our algo adapter should have no problem connecting to it. And with that, we can do custom page groups as well if needed, to where, let's say you have a page county and it does these specific phones, or page this and it does these specific phones. So we can set up page groups to do specific departments. And also the phones do have 4-digit intercom, where it's kind of like a barge in speaker call, where you can do that as well. And that's more of a direct one-on-one call.
So like if Cindy needed to tell the highway department that timesheets are due on Monday, she could page their phones over there and everybody would hear it over there. Right?
Yep. If it's in a different building, it does. So the multicast does only do over the one building's network, but the intercom functionality would go over. So yep, she could just intercom over and go, hey, you guys need to get this done, please. So yep.
I like analogies. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
So when you're looking at this bill, the total monthly recurring, that is the amount that it would cost every month to host those phones. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the total non-recurring is just installation basically, or soft cost of that?
Yes, and I waived the installation fee on all of the locations, minus the ones that we have to either install a drop cable, or we have construction. Depending on how that goes, we can work with that as well. That's not set in stone with that number.
So this is one that you would, that's the amount that would be charged to install it.
Yeah, starting out, yes.
That's what I was thinking. I just want to make sure.
The 119.21.
That would be the reoccurring.
Yeah.
That's the monthly charge for 60 months guaranteed. Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the last column will be the amount it would cost to, for
Which,
initial.
that's more or less in there just as to justify the build costs. You know, if it's under, $200, Midco isn't gonna say, we can't just give you free plan. I mean, we're not gonna build this. I mean, the REAP isn't worth the so. So I did leave that in there, but that is negotiable.
All right. And then this one is without.
Without the hosted
Without-
phones.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just us as the dialed home provider.
So then our phone system that we have, the phones would remain the same in that instance, or would that still be new phones?
I think you were working with Swiftel and they would provide the phones and the PBX.
Oh,
We would just provide the
the
dial tone.
Surface. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? You can think of, you have contact information, I guess, as we have a chance to decipher it a little, we can get a hold of you, I guess, if we have any.
Yeah.
Lee, did
Since I
you have,
can't see the packet- Yeah, just since I can't see the packet, what was the monthly fee and what was the installation fee?
He doesn't have
Just
the
since I can't
packet.
see the packet.
we can email all this to you, Lee, I guess, so then you can have it.
Well, each county location has a different monthly reoccurring charge, so there's gonna be
Okay.
multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's too complicated, yeah, I'll look at it when, yeah.
Yeah.
I can look at it.
Each location has its own, like the courthouse had 39
phones. Yep.
yeah, 39 phones, so that's all on
Okay.
one. but-
I'll get it.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
yep, thank you.
Appreciate
Very
it.
much.
Thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, all right. We'll skip item number 10 and let's see, 11 is that, we'll go to 11 then, and then
Oh, we can jump.
go ahead and do the, okay,
Yeah, let's-
okay. Well, Terry will take you.
Yep.
Morning, Terry.
Good morning, Terry. How are you?
I'm here. It's a good day.
Doing good. All right, so you're mainly here to go over your budget.
Yes.
And is that behind the mandates?
This toward the end.
Near
Oh,
the
right
sheriff.
here. Yep, it's
Near
right
the
behind the
sheriff's,
jail.
Yep.
Yeah, so page
Yeah,
page one it has, but yeah, it's activity 101.
Yeah, but that,
23,
it has a different
213.
page number because it didn't
Yeah.
get run with the rest of them. That's why.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's right behind the jail. All right, everyone there? All right, let you go. Give us a summary.
All right. For it's gonna be what, 2022 or 2023?
Yes, 2023.
Yep.
I kept the coroner's wage and salary at the 20,000. So that looks like that's gonna work, I believe, unless something crazy happens.
And that's at a current rate of $250 per call, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And so far this year it's been off and on. It gets busy and then it slows down, it gets busy. So, then the, let's see, the OA, SI.
Oh,
Here.
those are all just generated
Yeah.
based on the 411 lines. You could get
Okay.
down to the 422 and
Perfect.
there on. Yep.
The professional service fees, we bumped that up to 25,000. Well, it's exactly the same as the last time, so we'll just keep it the same. And then supplies, we moved that up to 5,000. Just because there's stuff that we're gonna need to get. Like I just ordered some gloves because I had them on sale, so I did that. There's some other stuff coming up. body bags. The state just called me and I put them on hold for me for however many they can get. So they said they just got in like 100 of them. So they put them on hold. I believe they're gonna be $15 a piece. Normally they're $55 a piece.
And
Wow.
that's how to put a surplus.
Surplus,
correct?
yep.
Okay,
So they got them on hold for us.
good.
So I try to do that when I
Mhm.
can, but they don't get them very often. So when they do get them,
Gotta be watching.
yeah, I'll take the whole pellet
Mhm.
if I need to. And then the other current expenditures, we went from 25 to 30,000. And the reason I did that for the total of 52,000 is we don't have,
What? Terry, I'm sorry. Am I looking
Yeah.
at the wrong line here? Because I have 46,000 in that amount requested in 2023.
That's the total amount. I was looking at other current expenditures as 15. That's,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm
Hold on.
looking at the right sheet here. Because
I screwed this
I'm
up.
currently budgeted for 2022, I have 30,000 for total current expenditures. And in 2023, I have 46.
That's the one I got. I got page,
Cindy's got it. Cindy has a
Is it-
different one.
I might have screwed
What's
up.
on the screen?
Yeah, Lee, that's the same one
We
we've
just have
got.
15 down.
7/13/22 at
for
9:37.46 AM.
All right, so here's what you're.
Yeah.
Here's what I entered. I entered 25,000.
Yep.
And 6,000 and 15,000, and that comes to 46,000 here for a total of 68,000. Is that what?
That's right, but I just
Okay.
have it wrong.
Okay. all right.
So Terry, you got a $1,000 increase in supplies, and then you got a $15,000 in item, line number 429. So the increase, I guess, is what I'm curious about. Can you just
that
tell us what the
15.
increases
Previously,
are?
we
Yep.
didn't have anything in 429.
That's
So,
just current
So,
expenditure.
yeah, so the increase, I'm sorry for the mistake here.
That's okay.
Like right now, if I end up with a decedent, and they're unclaimed or we can't get a hold of family, the only place I can go with them is the Crawfords if their cooler's available. And they use it too, so I've had a lot of cases where I'm sitting here with the body and I have no place to put it. So, I put in for a cooler. It's right around, it's from the American Mortuary Service. The one I was looking at,
So that's what the 15,000.
yeah,
Yes.
that,
Okay.
radios, because next year they're going to change the radio
Mhm.
system. I am talking to Andrew from Emergency Management to see what he can do for that.
Homeland Security.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the 15,000.
Okay.
You know, there's gonna be some equipment with the cooler that I'll need, like another cot that goes inside of it. It'll be a 2-man cooler. Nothing major, but it's better than
Well,
what I have.
yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, it's not good. I'm
I'll
just
bring
telling
it
you.
here.
No, I-
So Terry, where would this cooler be
That's
housed?
the next question
Okay,
is,
yeah, not in the courthouse, right?
Not the
Okay.
courthouse. We're gonna have to find a place for county property.
secured place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You know, I've talked to Andrew about the building
Mhm.
that's over by the
Yeah.
baseball. You know, he said that's a possibility. He said he could pull something out of there.
Search and rescue.
Well, let's wait before we
Yeah.
open those discussions. We don't want the public getting all
Right, we
upset
don't-
about
Yeah,
that.
no,
We
but-
don't want to let them
But
know.
so
That's
there's different
security,
options
so
that are
There's
being,
It's just some total generalities on this
Yeah.
cooler. Or freezer.
I'm sorry, what?
Freezer or cooler?
Cooler.
Okay,
cooler, yeah.
one is, it's got a compressor.
Yes.
2 is compressors don't run efficiently in the wintertime. So you want it in a moderately warm building,
Yeah.
say a 40-degree building.
Yeah. Well, at least something that's been insulated.
Not saying where, but
Yes.
just
it
some
could go.
generalities.
Yeah. And the one I'm looking at could be either floorless or with a floor in it. Like up at Crawford's, they have a floorless one, so you can just roll the cot right in. So it'd be sitting on concrete.
All right.
Yeah, just a It's not just any place you want to dump.
No, no,
You gotta have some specs for the
yes,
unit itself
yes. And we want to make sure it's a secure location.
Right.
Obviously.
to get the maximum amount of life out.
Yeah. Yep.
So like a cat warmer.
All right. Opposite.
Let her trip the trigger.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
so basically that was
Getting what he
due, the
needs.
increase is due to that and
Yeah.
the radios that you're going to be forced to
Yep.
do. So, yeah, hopefully on the radio,
$16,000 increase from
Yeah.
2022.
Yep.
Yeah. or-
for supplies and.
yeah, basically,
then
Yep.
The radios I have now, I mean, they're nice, but next year
They won't be compliant. like, you're not
P25
going
for
to-
Right.
non-compliant.
Something. okay.
P25 compliance
Yes.
states requiring, if you're operating on the digital spectrum, that you comply with P25 compliance. That's a nationwide thing. So
Roughly availability time wise? On the cooler?
they're available.
Oh, they're
Just-
available,
yeah.
okay.
It's just a matter of ordering it, having them come set it all
It's not a matter of waiting 6 months or.
up. I don't believe so. No,
Okay,
not a high demand item,
Not
probably.
usually.
okay.
All right.
All right
Great.
then.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You
You
too.
too.
Okay, figure out where we're at here. We'll go back up to number 10 then. Action to approve the purchase of spray logger equipment for the weed department as budgeted. Morning, Steve.
I bet your discussion will be as intriguing, Steve.
Yeah, good morning. This here is to turn around and replace actually 2 units. These units are solid state. I have already 1 unit in a truck that I purchased a couple years ago. These units will actually turn around and detect each section that is sprayed of the truck, so 10 feet or 20 feet. And so that, this is more or less to upgrade the older stuff. Currently I have in here for trade-in on 1. I'd probably keep the other one to use for in the spray or in the fog truck. So then it can track. And so that when we're fogging mosquitoes in other communities.
Tracking this stuff is getting more and more important all the time.
Exactly.
Is this in your budget?
This is budgeted item.
Yes, a motion to approve.
Motion by
Second.
Van Duzen, second by Johnson, I believe.
No.
Okay,
Waterman.
Waterman,
Yep.
okay. I just heard it coming out, but I didn't
Yep.
know. All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed.
And we will need separate action to declare those other
Yep.
surplus.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll need
Yep.
specifics on those.
Yes. I can do
For
that.
Okay.
next
For-
week?
Yeah,
Okay,
for the trade-in.
all right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Item number 11, action to declare copier purchased in 2010 surplus to be destroyed.
This took a bit of investigation to figure out what this was. The nurse's office contacted me. They said they have a new machine. This one they don't need any longer. It does work, she said, but I believe they referred to it as a dinosaur. It was purchased in 2010. When I look online, I don't see that this copier is available anymore. So that's even though it works, is it something we should hang on to and try and sell at a surplus sale, or should we declare it surplus to be destroyed and get rid of it?
You got a
Well, can you-
question out there.
Mine's more antique than that.
Can you get paper? Can you
I
get
don't know if you
ink?
can
I
get,
don't know.
I don't know if you can get toner or anything for
I get
this,
phone for mine right now currently.
but I don't know about this one.
That one, I just noticed that exactly newer than the one I have in my office.
Well, do you want this one?
I can try it to see if.
Yeah.
Let's just delay
There we
action
go.
on
Yeah.
that until we see if Steve can use
Okay.
it. Okay.
We'll
all right.
just do that then. We'll just leave that. And you
Save
guys-
from the clutches of the.
Item
landfill.
number 12, we won't need to discuss that about the burn ban. We've had some rain, so we should be good for a bit. Item number 14, action to approve claims for payment.
You have the claims list in front of you there. Is there any questions? Are there any questions? On any of the bills that are up to be paid?
I must have
I
missed
don't
that
have
page.
the
I don't have
claims.
that page.
Oh, I emailed it out
Oh,
to you.
just-
on
Little
bit earlier.
Friday.
I
Yeah,
seen it
sorry.
on the email. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sorry, I did not reprint it. That's
It's okay.
my fault. Total claims are
Yeah, on the screen.
$1.5 million. Of that amount, yeah, there's the claims list.
Okay.
Of that amount, 615,000 of that goes to the state of South Dakota for motor vehicle collections. So leaving the county claims at just over $900,000.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
Okay.
second by Gable. Any comments,
This is
questions?
just our normal monthly claims.
Mhm.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 15, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
We have two of those. First one is to supplement the highway road restoration budget in the amount of $18,794.01. That is recent claims that we have paid, and this comes from the money that was paid to us by the wind energy people. Last year, we're allowed to supplement the budget, and then we also have supplement to the welfare budget for ERA 1 and 2 payments. These are payments for utilities, rent. This is grant money that we received from the state. The ERA 1 money, the supplement would be $3,921.34. And the ERA 2 would be $42,982.49. And the reason for these supplements is to keep the budget from appearing inflated when this is just kind of one-time money, so.
Passed.
Move
All
to
right.
approve.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 16, action to approve personnel changes. We have one of those.
I have one of those. This is a new hire at the Community Health Office. It is a health administrative tech position to replace an employee who is retiring at the end of the month. The new employee is Karen Jensen. She will start at step 1, $17.80 per hour, effective August 15th.
Move to approve.
Motion by
Second.
Johnson, second by Waterman. Any comments, questions on that? Hearing
Cody
none.
will be bringing her to the meeting so you can introduce her to the rest of you.
All right, very good. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Action to approve travel requests. I don't see any public notices, possible quorum of commissioners, Sioux Valley Commissioner meeting tomorrow in Madison, the dedication of U.S. Army Sergeant James Hyder, the bridge at the Ernie Edwards Readiness Center that Saturday, August 13th at 10:30 a.m. And then we have our annual conventions in Pierre, September 12th and 13th. Any old business? Any new business? Anything for the open? I look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Johnson,
Second.
second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye.